In 1942, an 11-year-old boy walked into a brokerage in Omaha. He handed over $114. 3 shares of a stock called City Service Preferred. 80 years later, that same boy would control over $800 billion. His name? Warren Buffett. Most people think Warren Buffett got lucky. They picture him stumbling into riches. The truth is the opposite. By the time he was 21, Buffett had already built nearly every habit that would make him the greatest investor alive. The newspaper route. The pinball business. The first stock at age 11. These weren't side hobbies. They were the foundation. And the third habit on this list is the one most people completely overlook. Warren Buffett was born August 30, 1930. The Great Depression. Money was tight. Most 6-year-olds were playing with toys. Warren was running a business. He bought 6 packs of Coca-Cola for 25 cents at his grandfather's grocery store. Then he sold individual bottles to neighbors for a nickel each. 5 cents profit per 6-pack. It sounds tiny. But the lesson wasn't the money. The lesson was margin. Even at 6. Buffett understood that the spread between cost and price was where wealth lived. And he understood Coke. The brand. The pricing. The reliability. That same product, Coca-Cola, would later become his most famous investment. In 1988, Buffett spent $1.02 billion buying Coke stock. 40 years after selling those bottles to neighbors. Today that position is worth over $25 billion. He didn't pick Coca-Cola because it was trendy. He picked it because he'd been studying it since he was 6 years old. But here's what's wild, the Coke business wasn't even his most profitable childhood venture. By age 13, Buffett had a problem most people would love to have. He was making too much money. His paper route delivering the Washington Post earned him roughly $175 a month. In 1943 dollars, that's about $3,000 a month today. A teenager, out-earning many working adults. But here's what made Buffett different. Most paperboys spent the money. Buffett invested every dollar he could. By age 14, he'd saved $1,000. He filed his first tax return that same year, claiming a $35 deduction for his bicycle and watch as business expenses. At 14 years old. By age 16, he'd stacked over $5,000 in savings. Adjusted for inflation, that's about $80,000 today. A high school junior. $80,000. Most teenagers never connect work to ownership. They trade hours for dollars. Then they spend the dollars. Then they trade more hours. Forever. Buffett understood something most adults still don't. The dollars he earned weren't for spending. They were soldiers that he sent out to earn more dollars. Compounding. From age 6. And that brings us to the habit that mattered most. Buffett didn't just save. He read. Obsessively. By age 10, he'd read every book on investing in the Omaha Public Library. He'd read some of them, twice. At age 19, he picked up a book called The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. He later said it was the best book on investing ever written. He didn't just read it. He went and studied under Graham at Columbia Business School. He's the only student Graham ever gave an A+ to. The only one. Ever. This is the part most people skip. Reading. Studying. Doing the boring work. Charlie Munger, Buffett's lifelong partner who passed in 2023, said something striking near the end of his life. He said, "In my whole life, I have known no wise people who didn't read all the time. None. Zero." Buffett still spends roughly 5 to 6 hours a day reading. Annual reports. Newspapers. Books. He once told a college class the secret. He held up a stack of paper and said, "Read 500 pages like this every day. That's how knowledge works." It builds up, like compound interest. Most investors spend their time watching CNBC. Buffett spends his time reading. The difference compounds. 4 decades. In 1956, at age 26, Buffett started Buffett Partnership Limited. He put in $100 of his own money. His family and friends added $105,000 more. For 13 years, Buffett ran that partnership. From 1956 to 1969, he averaged returns of roughly 29.5% per year. Annually. For 13 years straight. To put that in perspective, if you'd invested $10,000 with him in '56, you'd have had over $250,000 by 1969. In 1962, he started buying shares of a struggling textile company called Berkshire Hathaway. By '65, he controlled it. He shut down the textile business. Then he turned Berkshire into a holding company for some of the greatest businesses in history. Geico, See's Candies, Burlington Northern, Apple. A single share of Berkshire Hathaway purchased in 1965 for $19 is worth over $700,000 today. That's not a typo. $700,000. From 19. But ask Buffett what made him rich, and he won't say Berkshire. He'll say the habits he built before he was 21. Warren Buffett's net worth grew from $5,000 at 16 to over $130 billion today. That's not luck. That's not even pure talent. It's the same 3 habits, repeated for 80 years. Save aggressively. Invest in what you understand. Read more than everyone else. He still lives in the same house he bought in 1958. For $31,500. He still drives himself to McDonald's for breakfast. The world's wealthiest investor has the lifestyle of a middle-class accountant. Because for Buffett, the money was never the point. The compounding was the point. What's one habit you started in your teens that's still paying off today? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. If this changed how you think about wealth, hit subscribe. We post a new video every single day on value investing. No hype, no tricks, just the slow work that builds real fortunes. Tomorrow, we're breaking down the one stock Buffett held for over 60 years. And what it teaches us about patience in markets.